Pentru, Patrie, for Motherland. I would have normally dismissed this local motion picture, saying this is propaganda, this is nationalism, promoting that idea that we are buricul pământului, we are the center of the universe, valiant, proud, determined, strong, undefeatable, you know, if it's positive, it is ours. We're special. We're special. God has a preference for this place, which is normal because if we look around, that's what most or all nations think, that they have a special position. What is in favor of this particular film is the fact that it has George Constantine. In fact, I happen to come into it on this program of local films, right as George Constantine was giving a speech. For me, nationalism in action, I was just blaming it, mocking it, and then I am displaying it. It would seem, because I see him on the level with Jack Nicholson, Marlon Brando, or any of them. Indeed, now that I mention it, he had that thing Marlon Brando has on display in Godfather, superiority, unease, je ne sais quoi. And then it's that thing mentioned in connection with Steve Jobs, the capacity to alter reality around him. He would say things and make people believe in those things, like iPhone. And changing with that the world. I mean, surely we can argue that if it weren't for him, somebody else would, Samsung would. But who knows when? Then something else. Let's go with it. So George Constantine is Kukunichan. And I think it's just that one, he didn't have the chance, so he wasn't doing things in Hollywood, but here, so that's the limitation. Then, speaking of nationalism, I'm not saying he's one of ours, and that's the reason, and then we are better. In fact, thinking about him and the limitation of that he's not known, his value was just for a small group here. And then it was the problem of being in communism, censorship, not having roles, or some that are limited, and then they say these are the lines and that's it. So it could happen. Surely it happens in other places. Surely are spectacular actors in Bangladesh, Uganda. It's just that we don't know about them. We know of those from Hollywood because it has such a huge audience around the world. But then we don't get to know. Roman Duris is fabulous, is on the same level. But he's not as known as the aforementioned. So he's Gogolijan. He's giving a lecture on history. He's talking to the Prime Minister here. He's talking to a television 1877. that time the Turkish Ottoman Empire was big, controlling so much of the Balkans, all the Balkans. And then in the Middle East, it had a huge area under their control. It would disintegrate with the end of the First World War, just like the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But at the time speaking of, Turkish envoy is saying, look, they were fighting the Turks, those big empires, conflict perpetually. Maybe you can say, well, they changed sides and they were together with this. So, and they said, look, we want you to allow us to cross and chase and fight the Turks in your country, which is not independent, but dependent, vassal state, not part of the Turkish Empire, but we want you to not just that, but to contribute to the fight, to get into the fight. And so you want us to disavow our land, to betray, and eventually get the Russian Tsar. That's what I don't know. We and at one point he says our meeting unsuccessful. The worst has come to an end. So he doesn't believe. Eventually, the country will fight with Russia against the Turks to get the independence, and they would get that. And the film is about that, and the war and the terrorism and so on. I would mention a few anecdotes I know as a tour guide, and I had to go into those states. The official line was, we saved the rest of Europe. Then Luchan Boyan, brilliant historian from here, is putting things into perspective. That's not what happened. So the king, we had a king, and that was wonderful. I mean, that we were lucky in having this cow first coming from Germany. But because of the tension, because the Turks would not agree, he came in disguise on the Danube, so they met on the ship and they pretended not to know. He would have to avoid being maybe arrested, or what's the context? He arrives here, and I mean, I don't know how much, there's a grain of truth there, but I don't know how much of it is true. So, Your Majesty, welcome to your palace. Palace? Where? Palaces, buildings are called palaces here, but they're not a fraction of the size of palaces elsewhere. They're smaller. He would work on palace. Then he's going to meet the Sultan, and the Sultan, because he was the king of one of those small states which he controlled at that point, is keeping him standing, and then invites him to sit on a small chair, a mile away from his highness. But the German Romanian king, now dashing and proud, imposing in so many ways, comes and sits on a sofa near the Sultan, not anecdotes. And the film is not really spectacular, but it has a fabulous actor in it.